Can't move around.
How about that? Brad, I'm glad you like those blue signs because those aren't actually Jennifer's. The blue ones are mine.
I'll give you that one.
Having made you laugh, I'm going to get really serious really quick because what I just heard really amazes me. Ms. Bassett uses the same line that every other prosecutor that has ever run for a judge bench uses. The courts control their dockets. It's not true. It is simply not true. The DA's office either is ready to try a case or they're not. All the judge can do is set cases for trial. I set generally 30 trial weeks per year. Every Monday of every trial week, I have set a minimum of 10 cases for jury trial. If we try one, I feel lucky. If we try two, I'm ecstatic. But generally speaking, we try one per week. The decision whether to try a case or not is made by the same folks that decide whether to file a case or not. The judges don't file cases. Now, I've depressed everybody. Let me bring you back. Judges affect lives. We don't just sit on the bench. We don't just put people in the penitentiary. We affect lives daily. And we've got to remember that every day. I'm reminded daily, and every now and then I'm reminded outside the courthouse that I affect lives. Generally speaking, folks will come up to me and they'll say, "You're Judge," and I'll say, "Underwood." And they say, "Yeah, that's you." I say, "I had jury duty, and you were the judge." And I was impressed. And I thank you very much. Sometimes I have folks come up to me on the outside and they say, "You did my divorce." I say, "Oh." Well, I mean, what do you say?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. That's exactly what I say. I'm sorry. And sadly, and this is kind of funny, but sadly, the majority of them say, "No, it was the best day of my life." Okay. I mean, that's really sad to me, but that's generally the reaction. I had one experience that really struck me. I was sitting at a Burger King eating a hamburger, which is not normally something really interesting, but there's a little girl, she's probably 8 or 9, and she comes over and stands about 4 or 5 feet away from me and just stares at me. And I say hi, smile, and she turns and goes back over to what appears to be her grandmother. And every few minutes she would come over and do that again. And finally her grandmother came over and said, "I am really sorry to bother you. You're Judge Underwood." And I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "You did her adoption. And she remembers you. And she wanted to come over here and say hi to you, but she was embarrassed." So, man, I took time. We visited. I didn't remember her. We do a lot of adoptions, but that was just so special. We affect lives. A few weeks ago, I was working with the Lubbock Lions Club. I've been a member since 1989. We were working at the Salvation Army, preparing food for folks that needed it. In a little over 2 hours, we prepared food for 1,000 meals, which was way cool. I had not participated in something like that until then. That was awesome. Going into the building, going into the Salvation Army, there were some folks standing around outside. One of them said, "You're Judge Underwood." And I said, "Yes." "You sent me to the penitentiary." I'd rather have somebody tell me I did their divorce. I said, "Well, how are you doing now?" said, I am doing great. Thank you for changing my life. Someone I had sent to the penitentiary. I feel pretty good about that. So I walk into the Salvation Army, the kitchen area, and I'm introduced to the chef. Judge Puryear introduces me, so this is Judge Underwood. The chef says, I know Judge Underwood. Yes, I sent him to the penitentiary too. And he's obviously doing well. He's the chef. And Roberto is amazing. He is simply amazing. Did a great job. Tattoos from head to toe, everything that was visible, but does a fantastic job. Judges affect lives. Even people we send to the penitentiaries, we affect lives. All right, who is Judge Underwood? Well, I'm a big guy. Former football player. Graduated in a class of 28 in a Class B high school. Still managed to obtain a football scholarship to North Texas State University, what was then North Texas State University. Played for a year down there, had to drop out of school, go to work. Worked for an electric company, digging ditches, who ran underground electricity to the houses, a big housing development in Louisville. And decided pretty quickly that I wanted to do something else besides dig ditches the rest of my life. So I went back to school in 1976 at Midwestern State University. Graduated in 1977 with a business degree. 1 week later, came out to Texas Tech in Lubbock to start law school. I was accepted at the University of Texas, at the University of Houston, and Texas Tech Law Schools. I visited all three of them, absolutely fell in love with Lubbock. Just loved the school, loved the citizens. I agree about the loop. You should have seen it in '77. I mean, Lubbock has changed significantly since 1977. I call it a small farming community that has grown exponentially. You can wave at people driving down the road, and they wave back. They don't do that now. In fact, they look at you. But you wave at people. I love that. Love Lubbock. Stayed here ever since. Started clerking for John Montford in the DA's office while I was still in law school. John's only question to me in the interview process was, can you play softball? He had this burning desire to beat the criminal defense team. And so I said, sure, I can play softball. And I actually could back then. I was quite a bit better shape. Not too long since I played football. So he hired me, and we lost the game anyway. Luckily, he didn't fire me. Okay. I worked in the DA's office for 6 years. In that 6 years, I was in charge of the hot check office. I helped design and implement the first automated hot check system, which returned millions of dollars, or at least many, many, many thousands of dollars to the merchants of Lubbock County. Was misdemeanor attorney, felony attorney, chief felony attorney, first assistant DA. Moved all the way to almost the top in 6 years. My leadership abilities were apparent. I was promoted at every opportunity. I ran for and was elected County Court of Law No. 2 in 1986. The 364th District Court is a new court, so to speak. It was created in 1989. Then Governor Bill Clements appointed me to the position. I've held it ever since. I've done a lot more on the 364th, but I'm getting this sign back there. Wrap it up, wrap it up. All right. That's pretty much who I am. Thank you.